Hello, and thank you for joining me today as I walk you through your small employer benefit program application and all the associated paperwork to set up your small group. But before we get there, I want to say thank you for joining us at the TDA Financial Services Insurance Program. If you have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to reach out at 1-800-677-8644, and one of the folks on our team will be able to help you out. Today, I'm going to walk you through the basics of filling out your paperwork. There'll be some highlighted sections that we want you to focus on, and I'll give you a brief overview of the other documents that are in your packet. Once you've filled these out, please return them to us. And if there's any questions that you have that you want clarified, we'll be able to help you with those as well. We'll get these turned in for you, and we look forward to servicing you and your team. And thank you for choosing us for your health insurance needs. So the first document in the packet that you're going to get is your small employer benefit program application. This is the employer application. In here, you're going to need to fill out this whole section: legal name of company, employer EIN. The standard industry code for you is 8021 as a dental practice. All of your contact information is going to be very important. Please make sure that it's legible or use a computer if possible. And then your billing method, please select one of the following billing methods. We will have sent you over a proposal, and that quote will come with it. So please choose whether it was composite or age billing based on that. And then please ensure that you put the blue access for employers contact person so that they're able to access all that information and that they're able to get in touch with you at your office should something come up. Please make sure that you've got the requested policy effective date as the first, and in that month, day, year, it's going to be 01/01/2026. Once you've got that page filled out, you're going to keep scrolling down. You're going to provide your ERISA plan year, and that's going to be 01/01/26, and it's going to end 12/31/2026. If you maintain that ERISA is not applicable to your account, please give the legal reason for exemption. Basically, you're going to fall into the other category. Underneath that, we've got a request that you're going to need a copy of your most recent Texas Workforce Commission report or other supporting documentation, which will be submitted with this employer application. What you're going to want to do there is you're going to want to take your quarter 3 TWC report, quarter 3 TWC report, and submit this here. This is important. It's how they're going to use, how they're going to get the employee count, et cetera, for your team. And so you're going to be responsible for determining eligible employees as subscribers and their family members in accordance with applicable law. For more details about the employer's responsibilities in respect to identifying individuals eligible for coverage and your health plan, see group administration documents, general provisions. First off, we're going to select a waiting period. So if a person is added to the contract and it's later determined the employer reported a coverage date earlier than would be applied to the employer dependent, based on that waiting period and eligibility conditions the employer provided to Blue Cross Blue Shield, they reserve the right to retroactively adjust the coverage date for such a person. What you're going to want to do is for newly eligible individuals, they'll become effective on 60 days. And 60 days means that the earliest that they would be able to join is 60 days after employment, and the latest would be 89 days after employment. So you'll want to check that box there. There's an additional piece of information down here, be effective on the first day of the month following satisfaction of the waiting period and substantive criteria. And then underneath that, we've got to waive the waiting period on the initial group enrollment. You're going to check yes, because we're going to be submitting this for you for a January 1 start date. So you want to check yes. If there's anybody serving the employee waiting period, make sure to fill that in on C. Whenever you've got eligibility, you've got an orientation period that does not exceed 1 month, calculated by adding 1 calendar month, subtracting 1 calendar day from the employee's start date. And if used in conjunction with a waiting period, the waiting period begins on the first day of the orientation period. Cumulative hours service requirement does not exceed 1,200 hours. And hours of service per period requirement for which a measurement period is used to determine the status of variable hour employees, where the first measurement period starts between their first day to hire, does not exceed 12 months, and does not become effective 13 months from their start date plus the number of days, or other substantive eligibility criteria not described above. Make sure to fill that in there. total number of enrollment applications submitted, and total number of declinations submitted. This is important. It's going to have to match up what's on that TWC report. So for instance, if you have 8 folks on your team, 2 of them are submitting applications, you're going to have 6 declinations that are submitted. If you have 10 people in your office, only 8 of them are on the TWC report, you're going to have to fill those folks out in a form later on that we're going to cover. But at the end of the day, you have to have the total number of people that are in your office, and you have to have the right number of enrollment applications submitted and the total number of declinations submitted. So if your TWC report, again, has 8 people on it, 2 people are submitting applications, then that would mean that you would have to have 6. If you have 9 employees, but there's only 8 on your TWC report because they're newer and they're going to decline as well, then you would have to have 2 applications submitted, and then you'd have to have 7 total number of declinations submitted. And we'll have, again, another form that will fill that out. Do all employees reside in Texas? If no, is Texas a state with the greatest number of employees to enroll in this plan, which would be yes. This is a Texas plan. Is the company headquartered in Texas? Yes, that's a Texas plan. You have to make a decision as to domestic partners being covered, yes or no. It's entirely up to you if you want to cover domestic partners, and then you'll have to decide whether or not continuation coverage for domestic partners is available through COBRA if that's required, and you have to choose how you want to handle that. Dependent children are covered until their 26th birthday. There's a number of piece of information here for you to read through. Same thing for disabled dependents. As you get to number 9, are you an independent school district? You are not an independent school district, so be sure to check no here. Will you have been without group coverage for at least 2 months prior to the requested contract's effective date of coverage? Check yes or no. If currently have a group healthcare plan, please ensure the carrier's name, paid to date, calendar year, and deductibles for individual and family. Underneath here, we've got some legislative requirements, and then there's a mandated benefit offers. So if you have in vitro fertilization services, the renewal or the application that we sent over to you, the quote that we sent over to you is going to be without that charge. So you'll want to decline that. If you choose to accept it, it will increase that premium rate that we gave you. So we'll have to rerun that and get that added to it. Under your benefit plan selections for HSAs, please note that we do not use an integrated HSA vendor. So you'll have to put a non-integrated HSA vendor here. If you have an HSA with a bank, put that bank down. If you're planning on setting one up, you can also just put other bank or other, but there needs to be an answer in this section right there for the HSAs. You can, if you have an FSA vendor, if that's a plan for you, then we would go ahead and skip that part. Then under Blue Choice, PPO, Blue Advantage, HMO, these are the different plans that are available. These will be on your quote packet. You can go ahead and match those up. So whichever plans you're planning on offering, just put a check mark next to those. You scroll through all the way down to platinum plans. If you have a dental product, same concept applies. Most dental offices don't choose to add those. In here, you've got information about applications and declinations for COBRA, as well as minimum participation and contributions. This is waived during the special enrollment period, which ends on December 15th for January 1 effective date. You'll have to provide eligibility of enrollment information. All this information is going to basically cover some of the do's and don'ts. So please go ahead and read all this part. In here, it's got what an eligible employee is, so you can read through those if you have any questions as to who is an eligible employee. And then the producer agency specified in the producer statement below recognizes your producer record. That's us, TDA Financial Services Insurance Program. We keep scrolling down. If you want to add any of these in here, you'll have to check them and get back in touch with us so we can get you the right amounts. Under here, we've got electronic receipt of benefit booklets and contracts. You do not want to opt out of this. You do not want to opt out of this. You want to stay in this service. Make sure that you read these employer statements as they apply to your office. There's some additional provisions for grandfathered plans. However, we are providing you not a grandfathered plan. It's an ACA compliant plan. Some indemnification information, the Massachusetts Healthcare Reform Act. You consent to Blue Cross Blue Shield transmitting MCC reports on your behalf. Employer tests that the information submitted is true and compliant with all relevant MCC regulations. You want to check that box. You do not want to have to do this via paper. There's some reimbursement and third-party recovery vendors and law provisions. Same thing with Medicare secondary payer, which explains who is in charge as of terms of first plan, second plan. As we scroll down, you've got the signature page. So name of the authorized company official, signature of authorized company official, date, your title, city and state of signing official, where it practices. Under here, you'll have the producer statement. Here it's filled out. The one that we send you will not be filled out, but you don't have to do this. This is something that we'll handle on our end of the deal. There's a proxy page. You do not want to sign this. You do not want to set up a proxy. So we've crossed that out as an example. And then here we have a disclosure regarding HMOs that is required. So please read this. It covers information on deductibles, out-of-pocket costs, and a few other items. And this is specifically regarding HMOs and if you choose to offer HMOs. And then here's additional information on that. And then this is your signature page for the acknowledgement that HMO information has been provided to you. So again, signature, name, print name, name of business, address, city, state, zip, and then the date that you signed it. Under here, you've got your employer group information. So the legal name of the company, the EIN, this is sole proprietorship. It would typically be your social security number. If you have any questions about this, you can always get in touch with your account. They'll have this information. And the account number or group number will be setting up for you. Then here's a further Medicare secondary payer employer acknowledgement form. Please indicate the effective year for which the form is being completed. The effective year would be 2026. Your company is a new client of Blue Cross Blue Shield, Texas. Were you in business or not in business? So please check the correct one. If you have any affiliates, please select the correct one and then fill it out if you do. There's some additional information here for multiple employer group health plans and total employees. Please go through these and read them. Most of them are going to be no. For you, this is a small group plan, so the odds are is that you're not going to meet any of these thresholds. But please go through and read them. It's regarding 20 employees or more, 100 employees or more, et cetera, and multiple employer welfare arrangement type plans. Same thing here. This is section C, COBRA and continuation of coverage. If you have to offer COBRA, then you would fill this section out. But generally speaking, this should not apply to you. So if it doesn't, you click no. And if it doesn't apply to you, you do not have to fill out this name of COBRA, continuation of coverage, individual, etc. That's why we've crossed it out for you. If you have any employees currently receiving workers' compensation benefits, you check yes if they are, and then you have to list the employee name and the date they last worked. If not, just check no and you can move on. So in here, you've got your average employee count. Please read through again what the definition of his employee is, the employer information. And if you existed in the preceding calendar year, what is the average number of employees? They have information there on the dates. If your company did not exist during the preceding calendar year, what is the number of employees that you're reasonably expected to employ on business days during the current calendar year? So check those, answer the question accordingly. Is your company a partnership? Yes or no? And then this section on church plan written assurance, you are not a church plan. So you just check no there, which takes out a few of these other questions. Now, underneath there, you've got your signature and attestation page. Please read through this information. And it notes that the information you provide is correct to your knowledge. You got a date, name to please print your name and then your signature and the title. And then we've got the MSP employer acknowledgement form. So please read through this. This is important for you to understand, and then it's pretty straightforward. Did you file a separate tax return, employer size from your federal tax return? Are you part of a multi-employer group health plan, which we covered above as well? Working age, rule, employer size. So again, just run through all this stuff and you can read through it on your time. It will have some questions and then we'll have a signature page underneath that. This is the supplemental employment verification. And this is what we were discussing earlier regarding your third quarter TWC report. So you'll put your employer name, your SIC code, which is 8021, your address, city, state, zip, and your proof of documentation is always required when enrolling new small groups. If you don't have a TWC report is available, they'll accept other documentation, that W-2s, etc. So over here, you've got status codes and employees that are not listed on the TWC report or other proof of wage documentation. And so that's what we're going to get to next. Owners, partners, and officers are also included on this. New employees who work a minimum of 30 hours per week. So if they're not on your TWC report, or if your owners, partners are not on your TWC report, you'll need to add them to this page. So your name, date of full-time employment, hours worked per week, your status code. Again, your status code is right up here, FPI, OSD, CTW, respectively. And are they applying for coverage? Yes or no? Or are they declining for coverage? Attach application. So again, when we talked about earlier, if your TWC report has 8 people on it and you have 8 employees and 2 are applying, you'll have to have 2 applications and 6 declinations. If you have 9 employees, but your TWC report states 8, you'll have to have 2 applications and then the other 7 declinations, and you'll have to add that person who's not on your TWC report to this page. Once this is filled out, signature, title, date, printed name, signature of agent, which we will handle. And then down here, you have your enrollment application. This is for the individuals in your office. So they'll have to put in their social security number, group account number we'll take care of. So we've got the highlighted sections right here. Section 1, enrollment events. What you're going to be looking for is open enrollment, which is the third one over here. Underneath that, effective date of benefits would be 1/1/26. Section 2, this part is very important. Even if somebody is declining, we really need their first and last name and really as much information here as possible, including their employment date. Do they usually work at least 30 hours per week for this employer? Because when they decline, we have to be able to have good record of that as well. So if you're declining or you're enrolling, please make sure that this section is filled out and that it's legible so that we can have the most accurate information possible. You have most likely opted to offer a Blue Choice PPO or an HMO, so please check the one that's correct. And then the plan number that you're signing up for, which is one of those little codes. Then all you've got the small group plans, 2 to 50 employees, so you'll have all this information to fill out if you're offering Blue dental care coverage or anything else. You do not have more than 50 employees as a large group, so you do not have to fill out that section. Then there's some additional information for life, accidental death, AD&D, basically. Then over here, you've got coverage options for the employee's name, primary care physician. This is important if they are joining an HMO plan. They need to fill this out, primary care physician name. They can always go back and change this down the road once you're enrolled, but it's best to have it as accurate as possible from the get-go. If they have any dependents, they'll have to put down the same information, their social, birth date, etc. This will have to be filled out accurately if they're going to be adding dependents to a family plan or a spouse plan or a children-only plan. If they have disabled dependents, same thing. If they have another plan that will not be getting canceled when this becomes effective, they'll need to fill this information out if to make sure that we know who their other coverage is through. If they have Medicare, they'll have to fill the Section 7 out. And then Section number 8 is important, is a declination of coverage. So if they're declining because they have other group coverage or they're just not going to take up this offer, they need to make sure to fill this section out. And then they'll have to make sure to sign the application, their signature and their date at the bottom of the page. So again, this is important so that we can make sure to keep track of everybody. If you add somebody down the road, we'll help you out with that process, or you can do it through the Blue Access for Employers page, but we're more than happy to help out. We hope that this has been helpful for you. Again, if you have any questions about this, give us a call, 1-800-677-8644. And once you've filled everything, you can send it out on over to us. Thank you so much, and we appreciate your business. We hope you have a wonderful day.